Well, as you know, this year and the past few years have been terrible for Britain, terrible for freedom, terrible for your health, your wealth, and your happiness, as we see the police and the government turn on British people in anger and in punishment for the way that we left their beloved European Union. Ha ha ha. Well, look, Nigel Farage and Reform are attempting to bring back some semblance of sanity, and I think the Conservatives may make an effort as well, certainly hoping for that. But let me contribute to that debate by coming up with what I think are the top 5 laws that every patriot, every sensible person should be advocating. And I'll send this video to the Reform Party and see what they think about this. Okay, thank you so much for watching this video. Please do subscribe and hit the bell notification icon. It's the best way to absolutely guarantee you get every video as soon as they are released. But more importantly, for this video, please do comment, because I'm hoping to make future videos with your ideas of laws that perhaps we could pass together. Okay, we all know that immigration is going to be number 1, but let's start at number 5. And number 5 is something that I think is going to be controversial, but a really, really simple idea. It's called the Constitutional Change Reform Act 2025. And it does a very simple thing. It says any constitutional reform that is going to be brought forward in this country is subject to 2 requirements. First of all, the monarch is required to confirm within their own mind, and they are the arbiter of this, whether there has been a deep and long-standing desire for this change to be made. So first of all, deep is that people actually care, i.e. abolition of the hereditary peerage, nobody cares. Long-standing is that for a long time, say 60% in opinion polls want this change to be made. Then if that happens, there is a referendum on every single constitutional change. And the best thing about this, which people are going to get angry about and would actually disbar me from voting, is that in order to vote, all 4 of your grandparents have to have been born in the United Kingdom. And the reason I say that is because I think it takes time for families and people to adjust to the culture of a country. It would mean that my nieces and nephews would be entitled to vote, but I wouldn't be entitled to vote. And I think that any ways that perhaps my family have brought from Greece and Ireland are very much gone by the time that my nieces and nephews are are who they are and get to the age of maturity. Now, there's going to be people who are going to say that that's racist and that's discriminatory. No, I think actually, if you have immigration to a country, you have to accept that it takes a certain amount of time to assimilate. My view is that you need 4 grandparents in order to be a fully British family. I don't envisage there being many constitutional changes, but I'm happy, as somebody who wouldn't be able to vote, that you who have 4 British grandparents are the custodians of that until such time as my family's been bedded in for, 60 or 70 years, the required time for you to have grandchildren that were born in the UK and for you to have been born there as well. So that is number 5, the Constitutional Change Reform Act 2025. The next one at number 4 is the Police, Prisons and Criminal Justice Act 2025. This does a couple of really simple things. Point 1, it adds use of police resources for non-crime hate incidents to the category of gross misconduct by police officers. That means that if you are caught attempting to bully a member of the public out of committing a non-crime hate incident, you'll be subject to sacking as a police officer, disciplinary action, loss of your wages and pension. I think that reflects the severity of what is taking place. Second, each local government area will have their own borough sheriff and their own police constables, and people like the Thames Valley Police will deal with the larger crimes. And it will be much like the United States of America, where the bobbies on the beat will be your local people. You will get to know them and they will be paid for by you. You can have as many or as few as you want paid for by local taxation. We're going to get away from this idea that police constables are the regional SS that get sent in to deal with problems. You'll have your local bobby drinking in your local pub. And I think that blends the need for the professionalisation of the police through large-scale units, and the need to be localised as well. Number 3 is going to be controversial, but I'm going to say this, that in prisons, Christian prayer will be mandatory for all prisoners, and only displays of Christian religion will be allowed in prisons. Our prisons have now been taken over by jihadi groups, and I think we have to prevent that. Now, some prisoners will feel it is a punishment to go to church on a Sunday and be required to do that. Unfortunately, I'm going to insist that they have to. Britain is officially a Christian country. I'm a Catholic. It's officially Church of England, but I think that we absolutely have to do that, and that's something that's required. I think also point number 4 would be abolition of the Crown Prosecution Service. I think we need to go back to the system that still operates in the Republic of Ireland, where it is local police inspectors who decide whether somebody is charged, and they go to court in the first early stages of the case. I think the Crown Prosecution Service have spectacularly failed over Jimmy Savile, Mohammed Al-Fayed and others. I think it's a big waste of money. And I think what it's done in the Manchester airport thing, where it has deliberately sought to delay, hopefully it was intending, I think, to run out of time on charging those guys. I think it has been proved to be pretty disgraceful. The Crown Prosecution Service, by the way, has only existed since the 1980s. It was supposed to be there to ensure that justice was meted out without fear or favour. Well, that never happened. And so I think we go back to our traditional system. So number 4 is the Police, Prisons and Justice Act 2025. At number 3, I won't go through this in much detail, is the Higher Education Freedom of Speech Act 2023. Yes, that is to say, the law that allows students free speech on campus, which was passed by the Conservative government and is now going to be repealed by the Labour government. I think needs to come back. It does simple things. It forces each university to have a code of conduct on free speech. It forces the Office for Students to investigate and keep a register of free speech on campus, published openly, and there is a complaints procedure for students that is without the university, and I think that's an important thing, but I won't dwell on it simply because you've heard of it before. So at number 3 is the Higher Education (brackets Freedom of Speech Act 2023. And then at number 2, I think it's reform of the honours system. I think we need to start looking at the way that we give out honours. The fact that people like Nigel Farage, people like Tommy Robinson have not been knighted, but people who behave incredibly badly have been. Keir Starmer is somebody who has received a knighthood. Alison Saunders as Director of Public Prosecutions. I think that both of those people are thoroughly undeserving of them. So at number 2 is the honours (brackets) change and reform Bill 2025. And at number 1 is the Refugees Rights and Return Act 2025. Okay, it finally clarifies the UN Convention on Refugees, or whatever it's called, and it says the following. You are entitled to come to the United Kingdom if you are fleeing persecution from a neighbouring country to the United Kingdom. They are places like Ireland, Norway, Denmark, Belgium, Luxembourg, France and Spain, perhaps Germany. I think there's a little bit of Germany, isn't there, as well? Okay, so that is an automatic right. If we are the nearest country, if there is problems in the Republic of Ireland, you come to Belfast. Fine. Number 2, you can come to the United Kingdom if you are fleeing persecution from a country neighbouring a neighbouring country. So, effectively, if you get to Norway and Norway's not safe either, then you can come to the United Kingdom. And that chain continues for as long as necessary. So, if you are in South Africa and Zimbabwe is not safe, or Rhodesia is not safe, then you go all the way through. If at the end the nearest safe country is the United Kingdom, then that's fine. Obviously, highly unlikely for that to happen. The other way that you can come to the United Kingdom is if you are fleeing persecution in a country where the United Kingdom Foreign Secretary has said that there is a genocide taking place. And so there would have to be a formal process where the Home Secretary would have to stand up in Parliament and say there is a genocide taking place. Also, the final point would be that the Foreign Secretary will have to publish a list of safe and dangerous countries, and effectively that would have to be reviewed every single year. And this is the next point. You will have to leave your country. You have to leave the United Kingdom as soon as your country becomes safe. Now, that doesn't preclude you from attempting to get a work visa or a business visa or whatever, but you will have to leave the country if you are a refugee fleeing from conflict or danger that no longer exists. And I think that that is a sensible thing. And I want to just say to you that, remember, there was a huge risk associated with what happened in Armenia, with what happened in Israel, with what happened in Ukraine. Had there been genocide in those three countries, genuine genocide in those three countries, then we wouldn't have had the space to take in genuine refugees. And what we have to do, I think, as a responsible country, is to say, effectively, you have an automatic right if you're in a neighbouring country. And then if there is a country that is so fallen to bits that we absolutely need to take people from anywhere on earth, we will do that. But of course, the requirement is that just in case there's more problems in the future, you have to go home when it is time to go home, when your country's safe. So those are my 5 laws. I don't know what you think of them. Hopefully comments in the description. Also, I'd love to hear from you if you've got ideas on perhaps where I've gone wrong with the terms and conditions, and you go, oh my God, we shouldn't have neighbouring countries like Norway because they're next to Finland or whatever. And always remember something else that you can do. You can reply with a video. All you have to do, and there's YouTube descriptions of how you do this, you just reply to my video and tag your own in. And maybe we can watch them. And for those of you that are new to YouTube and have never made a video, all I do is just turn the camera on, and I've got this little microphone, but you don't need that, and you're good to go. So there we go. There are my top 5 laws. Let me know what you think. Until next time, goodbye.